on your coat rack, you've got your IFR 2018
Yep.
qualifier jacket, number 82 on the back.
Yep.
Kind of I mean, it's very apparent what you're about. We got
Yep.
rodeo. We got. How do we describe you? Are you a rodeo artist? Are you an artist rodeo? What
I think
cowboy? What?
I think the best way, to describe like my style
Yeah.
and kind of is probably a contemporary Western artist, where it's
Okay.
like, I'm
Okay.
kind of in the here and the now,
Yeah. Yeah.
painting in my style,
Yeah.
and in my roping, like I'm not real orthodox, like
Yeah.
like with my roping and stuff, like I
Yeah.
kind of do some things that
Yeah.
some other people don't do, and it's not that I'm any faster. It's just that's just kind of how I learned and who I learned from.
Okay.
And, you know what I mean? And there's just a way about that, whether it's match roping and picking a number that we rope on.
Yeah. Yep.
I like an odd number.
Yeah.
A lot of people like an even number.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I like an odd number.
Really?
Yeah.
Just certain things.
Yeah. Just certain stuff.
You
Yeah.
see structure. You see patterns.
Yeah. And I've been taught, though, you know what I mean? From a ways back.
Let's go way back.
Yeah.
Let's go way, way back.
All right.
Okay. Grew up in Bristow, Oklahoma. I know that. But let's talk a little bit about how you all came to be settled there.
Well, I think settling Oklahoma, coming from out east and then back to the west, my grandma, I'll cut into that a little bit. She was a Goodnight. My grandma's Lila Goodnight, and just an amazing woman. My grandma was, and my great grandpa was Smoke, and my great uncle Ole, which would be my grandma's brother, and he calf roped. He's a cowboy, like he had and still does have racehorses, and has a ranch up there by Ashland, Kansas, up there by Inglewood.
Yeah.
And he's run cattle, and his son Greg, and they're just awesome people, man. And I feel like just the Goodnight heritage, with Charles Goodnight and these kind of characters that are long back in my family. It's like a long ways though, but not that far. Like in this country's history, it's really not that far.
Yeah.
Because I think Oklahoma, hell, I think it became a state like 1904.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Or 1905, but I'd have to double check that. But I think 1904, it was a territory. And so, we, going back to the heritage though, it's just been running cattle, the oil and gas industry,
Yeah.
welding. And then like my family, Charlie was a Texas Ranger. And then, my great uncle Ole has just been a cowboy all his life. He was in the war, and then he'd come back and then basically built on to what they have land wise.
Yeah.
And then my grandma still had a little piece up there, but leases it. And it's just I love that. That's how I grew up, and then that's where we came from is my kind of bloodline, as we grew up around a bunch of cowboys and cowgirls, and man, my cousins too, all so talented, roping, running barrels, breakaway, like my cousins Renee, she married one of the Stampers. They're a talented family out of Oklahoma, so Lila Rochelle, my cousin, she made the college finals. She had a really nice horse called Seekin. She's had a lot of good ones, but pretty cool, man. We got a big family in the rodeo business, and it comes from a long ways though back. I feel like my uncle Ole and just really always pushed me to, like he always would ask me, have you been roping?
Yeah.
Have you been riding your horse?
Yeah.
How's your dog working? And, he asked the right questions.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That he cared. And my grandma would ask me the right questions about painting. If if I've been working at it, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And my grandpa Neil held the at Northwestern Oklahoma State there in Alva, held the RBI record there at that college in baseball. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You know what I mean? And then he played basketball too.
Okay. So an athletic family.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So fast forward to your mom and your dad. Tell us about your mom and dad, and then we're going to get into earliest memories.
Yep. Well, I tell you, my dad, Brent, is was a welder and welded on live gas lines, and he was a steer wrestler, and he roped calves in college, and he lived with J.D. Yates and couple other guys, and Robert Etbauer was around too.
Yeah.
Pretty good friends of my dad's, and T.C. Perkins was going to school at Panhandle State. That's Zach's daddy. And he was like a hell of an all-around hand, and then my Uncle Brad rode bareback horses and bulls, and really good hand at starting colts. You know what I mean? He's just a badass guy, and so like he just, he has that ability, but my dad bulldogging wise and calf roping kind of was that I found that love for the timed events, like through that. And then, but really my dad, what was really interesting about he would just show up, land an airplane on a dirt road in the middle of nowhere, get out, weld on a live gas line,
Where do you learn that skill?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's definitely damn sure not trial and error. It's like, it ain't like, it's really, the best way to say it is you better have a pretty good sized beanbag